Hypothetically speaking, that was funny. Would be the best fit for the Mavs.
I know one thing. It's like this. They don't have Kyrie for the beginning of the season. They need a point guard. Now, this is, getting Cooper Flag wasn't necessarily the best thing for Dallas. It kind of is, because you have a great white athlete in a white state, which I'm not saying my niggas ain't down there, but predominantly oil Jerry world, even though it's Dallas, but that vibe, the good old boy city. So you got a white boy who's nice down there. But to be honest with you, they really needed a point guard. They would have been better off with the 2 or 3. Now you got somebody like, let's say for instance, PJ Washington, who's 25. Cooper Flag's gonna take away from his minutes. And if you think he's not gonna be in practice going crazy on Cooper Flag because he feels like somebody just came and take his spot, it don't matter how much you bust his ass in practice, you're still gonna be there. So now, if I'm Drew Holiday, I would say this to myself. I don't want to go to Dallas, because Drew Holiday's a starting point guard right now. And we know if he comes back, he's not going to be starting there. Would I love to have Drew Holiday come off the bench for me? Absolutely, because you're having a starting point guard coming off the bench. But we know when Kyrie Irving gets back, 100%, Kyrie Irving's starting, and there's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. It's not even a question. Chris Paul, could he fill the void while Kyrie is out? Probably, but do you want your father or uncle in there telling you what to do every 2 minutes? Like, that's Chris Paul gives you uncle vibes. Like, if you would have made that pick and rolled and popped out, then you would have missed out on the screen. Shut up, nobody want to hear that right now. Niggas ain't really interested. So. And we've seen that on different occasions, to a point where he's in the huddle and James Harden smacks his hand down, and so on and so forth. And like May said, I'm not sure exactly where Lonzo Ball fits into all this. But if I'm the Mavericks, I would definitely want Drew Holiday more than Chris Paul. But if I'm Drew Holiday, I wouldn't want to go to the Mavericks, because I only know it's a temporary starting job until Kyrie Irving gets back. Chris Paul, be happy somebody wants you.
Yeah, what if they want to put Drew Holiday in as the point guard until Kyrie comes back, and then they play like Kyrie at the 1-2, like they just, whoever got the ball brings it up?
I mean, that's not a problem until you play defense. I used to think Drew Holiday is I'm not saying he isn't, let me not do that. Drew Holiday is a great a premier defensive player in the NBA, but Jalen Brunson made him look subpar.
Yeah.
Jalen Brunson made him not look good. And what will happen is one of them will be a defensive liability, if not both of them on the defensive end, because you have 2 small guards when you're guarding on the other end of the court. So both of them, I'm not disagreeing with you, Mace. Because look, let's think about this. Garland did it with Mitchell. It worked during the regular season.
Get to the playoffs. Somebody 6'5".
Yeah, exactly.
Paul's long wingspan started changing the shot.
Right, exactly.
Yeah, exactly.
So, could it work? Maybe. I don't know if you could win a championship with that format. The only 2 I've seen do it was Isaiah and Joe Dumars with 2 small guards, and Joe Dumars isn't that small either.
Yeah, he's 6'3".
Yeah, about to say he's a tall 6'3".
Okay, so I want to discuss Chris Paul a little bit more, because we know that he's set to be a free agent this offseason. If you guys were in his shoes, what would your next steps be? If you had, obviously, if you could choose to go anywhere or make that next step decision, what would it be?
Actually, if I was Chris Paul, I would really entertain going back to San Antonio, actually, because that's gonna be a hot spot next year. Next year, I think that's gonna be a total different team. Like, a lot of these teams, like Cam has mentioned earlier, they just got together this year. So with a summer camp, with strengthening, conditioning together, a summer together, all of these things together, that San Antonio team could be a total different team next year. You got Castle coming back. You got DeAndre Fox coming back. You got Wemby, and if they add one more piece, this is a formidable team to make some real noise in the West in conference. So him being there is actually a good thing for him, because you get to be a part of another legacy. I really believe that Wemby is going to continue to be a special player And he has the right to be a part of that if he take a lesser role and just make it more about other people, not teaching so much, just enjoying the newness of the team that's surrounding him.
And then I want to talk about the losers and the winners of basically the awards that were given this year, because I don't think we actually went over them. So now that we know who the winners are, I want to get you guys' opinion. And let's actually start with Clutch Player of the Year. So we know that Jalen Brunson won that award. The other finalists were Anthony Edwards and Jokic. Now looking at it, now that it's all said and done, do you think that that was the right choice?
Yeah, absolutely. Jalen Brunson, if I couldn't give him anything else, he's been very clutch. Not in the last game, but everything before that, he's been very clutch all through the playoffs, all through the season, all through last year. I mean, every time the ball has been in his hand, one time he hit a move where he was going right, and he came back to his left with a left floater. And I was just like, that is a move that normally get blocked every time in the playground. So it was just amazing to see that people are still going for that in 2025. But he gets off some of the most easiest things that I think people should be able to defend. I don't understand why they can't stop it, but as long as it's working, he will be the best clutch player out there.
Yeah, I agree with Mase. He deserved that award, especially in the playoffs. He's been really clutch. I don't think he's been more clutch than Halliburton in this past series. But if we're talking about throughout the entire year and the playoffs so far, he definitely deserves the award. What I would do if I was anybody with a couple dollars, right now before the odds get too crazy, I would place it on Jalen Brunson to win MVP next year.
Yeah.
Do you agree or disagree?
I understand for the betting purposes that would be great. I think I'm more so focused on the team that I said will be the best team playing, and that was Indiana. I don't want to change that right now. I think Halliburton has proved to everybody that he's definitely not the most underrated player. That whole notion got to go out the window. Whoever made that up, that was a bad joke. You remember we was having that conversation? That Halliburton, most people think he's the most overrated.
Yeah. That's like a very real conversation. That wasn't a joke.
It wasn't most people. It was voted on among his peers, other 150 players.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was all hate. That was definitely all hate now that we're watching this series.
Yeah. And then I know, Cam, your answer is basically locked on Jalen Brunson, but to Mace's point, do you see that as a answer too with it being Halliburton or no?
What?
For MVP, yeah.
No, Halliburton won't be. I'm not saying he'll be MVP. I'm just saying the whole idea of most underrated. Most overrated or whatever they said. It was just a bad take.
Bad take.
When it comes to MVP, who I could see being MVP next year, Joker again. I don't see nobody really stopping him next year. I think he'll be the same way next year.
Yeah, and I'm not saying that Jalen Brunson would win. I'm saying that the odds right now,
Yeah.
if you go to Vegas right now, the odds probably aren't that high on him, and he wouldn't be far-fetched, in my opinion. If the Knicks play again just as good as they played this year, and he has the season again next year that he had this year, he'll definitely be in the conversation.
Mm-hmm.
And then most improved player, the winner was the Hawks' Dyson Daniels. So the finalists were Cade Cunningham, obviously Dyson, and then Zubac. Do you agree with that answer, or do you think it should have been somebody else?
As most improved player, there's a few people who came to mind when it comes to most improved. I think the Knicks had a few people that was could have very much won that award. Josh Hart could have won that award. There's a few people that could have won that award, but I'm excited for anybody to win something out of Atlanta.
Why, Mace?
Because they're not winning anything else, you know? It's not like they won the playoffs. So, you know, you got to show them some kind of love. You got JD about to put his Magic City thing out, you know? Got a win for the city.
I thought you said you don't do handouts.
Huh?
You said you don't support handouts just to give them an award just because.
But it's for them, though. It's not for me, it's for them, you know?
you like this for them.
Yeah, I like this for them. Ain't that how the young people say it?
Yeah.
I like this for you.
I'm quoting you mocking me.
Yeah, I like this for them.
Okay.
They ain't make the playoffs, so I don't know who's improving. How you improving if you still don't make the playoffs? Improvement means you're improving, helping the team. It's 2 years straight so they make the playoffs. How you the most improved player when the team is not improving what you wanted? I like Mace's answer. I like, actually, not to agree with him like that, but I do like Josh Hart.
Yeah, Josh Hart.
Yeah.
And what's his name from Indiana? What's the light-skinned guard name?
Em Hart?
Yeah, he could have won that. Because when you show up differently, that's why the team goes to a new level. Cause
you could throw Kay Cunningham in there. You could throw, he stepped up to.
Kay Cunningham.
Well, Kay was a finalist. He just didn't get it.
And what's his name from OKC? OKC has somebody that could have won that award.
Like Jalen Williams, like Jalen.
Yeah.
Yeah, these are all good picks, but yeah, no.
So that's why I said they pretty much handed it to somebody in Atlanta. It's all good.
But still, congratulations.
But still, congrats.
Yeah. Okay. Coach of the year we know is Cavs, Kenny Atkinson. Finalists were JB Bickerstaff for the Pistons and Ime Udoka for the Rockets. What do you think of the winner?
Who won?
It was Kenny Atkinson for the Cavs.
Oh yeah, he should have won that. But that job in the playoffs, that's why it's for the regular season, and this is why you got to give the reward out in the regular season, because after seeing you guys play against Indiana, I'm not sure if he gets this award, but that's what makes it conflicting and make it confusing, because now you're looking at a person that pretty much got swept, and now this is the coach of the year. How do you justify that? How do you justify being number one out of the playoffs from the start? This just doesn't make no sense. Makes no sense. How do you justify that? How do you justify that with the Cavaliers maroon on?
I mean, it's not in support of the Cavs. I'm just wearing, this color, but you can't.
But he's coach of the year. How? That's why they need to get an award early. I'm with Ja Moran and them. You gotta get this award out early.
Well, Ja was saying they needed to wait till it was
This
said
got
and done.
announced like a month ago.
Yeah.
This ain't even new news, to be honest. He kind of announced this kind of quick. But to answer the question, my answer is Bickerstaff. Look, Atkinson inherited a team that was in the second round of the playoffs last season. So it ain't like you inherited that big of a mess. Bickerstaff inherited a mess in Detroit. It was a fucking mess up there. We get up there and we looking at people who've been I don't even want to say less than that, been average. I'll use to be nice and say average when I sit there and mention Tim Hardaway, or when I mention Tobias Harris. They've been average at the teams they were at before getting to Detroit. Then they acquired Shumpert. What's his name? Dennis Schroeder, pardon me. These were great acquisitions to go along with their young player and their young superstar, and finally got some morale around there to where they want to win. They actually got in the playoffs without having to be in the play-in, which is amazing. We was just dissing Detroit about how they were giving out free hamburgers and movie tickets and prom dates and all type of shit just to go to the game.
Row seats.
Right. So for me, it's not even close, not even a little bit. Bickerstaff is definitely my coach of the year. Atkinson, you did a great job. Of course, we thought Boston would probably win the Eastern Conference, so you did a good job doing there, but you didn't inherit a mess. This nigga inherited a fucking catastrophe and somehow got out the playoffs. Got out of the play-in directly to the 16 in the playoffs. And they had a really good series against the Knicks. They didn't get it done, but they played really well.
Okay. And then the last one before we wrap, the NBA Hustle Award was won by Draymond Green. Do you think this was valid, or could it went to somebody else? What do you think of the award?
Yeah, I'm happy for Draymond to win it. I think I would have thought like somebody like Caruso would have won it. Caruso probably would have been my pick to win it, but if Draymond won it after all of these done, let him have it.
I think this is a great award for Draymond. Not only did he make first team all defensive team, he's actually 1 year away from making an all defensive team to being one of 5 players who made double-digit defensive teams. Whether that's first,
that's
second,
a great
or third
accomplishment.
team. Yeah, exactly. So he's 9-time all defensive player, whether it be first, second, and third team. So this Hustle Award of the Year, I really agree with it, because Draymond, look, people make fun of Draymond because sometimes he kicks somebody or his shot isn't the most pretty or he can't knock down, but the stuff that he does can't always pop up on the stat sheet. When you're guarding somebody that's the point guard and then you guard somebody who's the center and you're at best you're 6'6", 6'5", I'd say 6'5", maybe 6'6", they label him 6'7", but probably 6'6", and you're guarding all these positions. You think about when you go see the Golden State Warriors jump ball sometime, and there's Draymond there at the center court jumping ball against a 7-footer, and you like, yo, this nigga's actually about to start the game playing the 5 that ends up at the 4. Then you ended up bringing as a point forward because he's passing to Steph Curry and getting assists and getting triple doubles. Listen, I think it's a great award for him, and he earned it.
Fire. Well, congratulations to all the winners. And of course, as we see these final games kind of coming around, we'll be able to compare more, not even just awards, but also trades. So make sure y'all stay tuned for that. But that is all the time that we have for today. Thank y'all for watching. And as always, it is what it is.